Now, Dr. Anbudrai is going to summarize the whole event, and he's also going to enlighten us with all the points that he has taken from all the participants now. Over to our honorable consultant and our mentor and our teacher, and we can say like as a friend. So our association is over 15 years now. Whatever we doing as wow now today is essence from Dr. Anbudrai. Thank you, doctor, for patiently listening to all the sessions. I think like more than me and the other hosts, you are in the panel for almost 6 hours now. Welcome, doctor.
Thank you for the very humble acceptance of whatever contribution I made, which I'm not so sure, but I think it's more that you have really worked very hard. And in fact, today's program, I should only say wow, not just win or win consultancy, but really wow, because apart from people like Tilak and Ari and all that, who are our own homegrown celebrities, you have brought in someone who's a great Marathi and person, personality, celebrity we've heard, and his association with mental issues, themes is so great, and it's historic and legendary. So I think that's a big, it's a it's a very very big kind of thing you've done. This is a real marathon of what it should be, because the theme is about walking together, working together and walking together, and that's what you've done today digitally. It is not as enamoring and enthusiastic as to really see people, to really interact and go with that kind of visual feedback and all that. But still, let me try. So all of them made a lot of very important points. Some of the points that struck me was the thing about attention seeking. So I would rather say that rather than calling suicide or deliberate self-harm as attention seeking, one should call it as call for help. Because every time, whether sometimes we do know some people have a personality, they have a problem, and they keep trying some things, and people tend to say, oh, that's attention seeking, but rather use the word call for help, because that is more politically correct. It's more sensitive and empathic to the situation, because nobody really, even if they're attention seeking, you have to understand there's some problem there because of which they're doing that. So that's again it's a call for help. So that's something that we should correct. And so everybody, including Dr. Kishore, everybody has brought out the fact that it's a multi factorial thing. It's a very multifactorial, it's a web like thing. There are so many nets to it, so many connects to it. So you don't it doesn't happen just with one thing. So I think Tilak was saying, I felt guilty that I didn't give that person that 1 minute. Yes, sometimes we are not able to, whether as professionals or as friends or family members. He was talking about feeling guilty that he could not give that 1 minute or 2-3 minutes on the phone or something. But really think of someone, there's this whole long life, and it is our duty to build up connections all our life, both for our sake and for others' sake, so that it doesn't become that last minute, just because that 1 or 2 minutes somebody missed taking a call because they were busy with something else, and that's it. There's no chance for you. No, so that should not happen, and that will not happen if all our life we have connected. So it's really about emotional intelligence. It's about connecting with people and celebrating people and learning to be non-judgmental, as Tilak was emphasizing so much. The way people come through. But I also want to kind of join issues with him on one thing. Okay, you can't be a academic success, but maybe you can be a theatrical success, maybe you can be a musical success. But see, this whole success thing is what is the problem. The point is to live life and to appreciate whatever life has to offer us, not in comparison with someone else, not with some achievement in the future. Whenever you say success, it's in the future. So all of us, I would say, in today's discussions, if all of us have been hearing it all, I think the one thing that we have to get is the whole mindfulness concept of being in the here and now. Be in the here and now, right now, and not about will I be a success. If not in academic, will I be a success commercially? Will I be a success artistically? Will I be a success in a family? Whatever. So the whole thing is to be in the here and now, to be able to accept whatever is there in the here and now, and to do the best whatever you can do in the here and now, and not regret the past. Oh, I didn't do that. I could have done better. Like, I should have. Actually, as we said, it's a multifactorial thing. There are multiple hooks multiple hands to lift up someone. Yes, sometimes if you're lucky enough to save someone with that 3 minutes, that last minute that he was giving himself a chance to survive and you a chance to save him or her, yes. But a lot of time it's also the past where that person didn't make the effort. So like with Divya's chat, with her talk, what I was feeling was that Tamil நம்ம சொல்லணும்னா சமுதாயத்துல எல்லார் மேலயும் ஒரு பரிவு இருக்கணும். தனி ஒரு நபருக்கு உணவில்லை எனில் போதில் ஜகத்தினியை அழித்திடுவோம். We'll burn the world if there is no food for even one person. அந்த அளவுக்கு நமக்கு பரிவு இருக்கணும். அது இருக்கா நம்ம எல்லாருக்கும்? Or are we just going through the motions? Two, அவங்களுக்கு பரிவு இருக்கணும், சமுதாயத்துக்கு பரிவு இருக்கணும். இப்போ Tilak was feeling, or Nelson was feeling, in fact Nelson has created a whole NGO, based on that one friend that he could not save. Okay, so sometimes in a way that life became, in Hindi you say sarthak, it became sarthak by the way he took it, the way he took that loss. But what I'm saying is, while we have to have parivu on that person and try to help that person, but that person should also have panivu, to ask for help. You have head of the family who decides, I'm throwing in the towel. COVID வந்துருச்சு, சம்பளம் இல்லை, வேலை இல்லை, இனி என்ன ஆகுமோ, அப்படியே இவங்க லாக்டவுன் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணா கூட எப்பதான் இது ஆகும் எல்லாம் முடியாதுன்ட்டு கூல் ட்ரிங்க் வாங்கி இது போட்டுறாங்க. ஸோ அங்க என்னன்னா, நம்ம கொஞ்சம் பணிவா மத்தவங்க கிட்ட போய் கேட்கலாம் இல்லையா? அப்ப நம்ம என்ன உறவு வச்சிருக்கோம், நம்ம சமுதாயம் நமக்கு என்ன தைரியம் கொடுத்துருக்கு, என்ன பரிவு கொடுத்துருக்கு, அந்த பக்கம் நாம சமுதாயத்து மேல என்ன வச்சிருக்கோம். நாம உண்டுப்பா, நம்ம 4 செவிற்குள்ள இருக்கோம், நம்மளோட கஷ்டம் நமக்குள்ள. I mean, they have to, all of us have to understand this theme that we have to work together and we have to walk together, So that means you may have this small independent little hut or flat or gated community or whatever, but I mean, if anything, COVID has told you that everything is connected. If you have not got it so far, get it now. Whether it's suicide, whether it is this thing, everywhere. So we need to kind of be in connect. So that way, there's the story about Viktor Frankl when he was caught in the Auschwitz and all that, and he created a whole thing about meaning and purpose, and that saves us. I would also add, along with meaning and purpose in life, you also need to celebrate life. If you're just going to save a life, sometimes that's not enough. You need to give meaning to that life, so that will keep pushing him. But more than meaning, also give that person celebration, that each moment here and now I enjoy it. If I'm giving this talk, I have to enjoy talking to you. I have to be fully here communicating with you, and the way my voice falls on me, way I perceive it's falling in you, and that is where I have to live. Not like, oh my God, I'm talking this, but am I making mistakes? Will people take it right? Will they get what I'm saying? Or what if I miss some important point? I'm going somewhere else, right? So be present here, enjoy this moment. you know. So that's what is very important, because time keeps passing, but if we can enjoy this. And Armitage's talk, and his statement, where he says it's not about not wanting to live and unwilling to die but unable to live, or something like that. The same thing which Dr. Mangala also repeated, that theme. And in this context, I want to bring a famous Hindi song from the film Guide, where this heroine has a bad marriage and she's very unhappy, and she's living a kind of a half dead kind of a life, totally no purpose in life, no celebration in life. And if you see the movie Guide, it's based on the novel by R.K. Narayan. So you see how she transforms when she sees those small things, the dance and the music, and how she gets into trance sort of thing. And then the song that she sings. So that actually is the same thing that David and Dr. Mangala was mentioning about. It's the difficulty in not really wanting to die, but at the same time not being able to live either, and the space between where we want to live, but the struggle is between not able to live and not really wanting to die. So that is evocatively brought in that scene where she transforms, and she just lets out a peal of laughter, and you can see how that laughter changes, and that laughter comes in the context of coming into the open and seeing this dance and music, and how she gets infected, and the anklets, and she sings. The song actually says that. हो कांटों से खींच के ले आ चल, तोड़ के बंधन बांधे पायल हो, आज something, okay, आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है. This is the line that I wanted, because the whole song goes, and it's a very lovely song by Lata, and you can all go and listen to it. And I don't know to spoil it for you. I mean, to give you nightmares after all the good job done by everybody. But really, I can't tell you anything more than that song. It says, आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है, आज फिर मरने का इरादा है, आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है. Today, I again have the aspiration to live, Tamanna's aspiration, desire to live. Aaj fir marne ka irada, but there's also an intention to die. So that is what someone like Osho says, celebrate death. In that sense, that you're ready for everything. When you're ready for everything, you can face even death. If you're not afraid of death, you can live much better. So the whole Viktor Frankl business is two things. One is the purpose, but there's also this beautiful story about him, where late night, something like this, he gets a call from a lady who, who's in severe distress, and says, I'm actually throwing in a towel, I'm just going to die. And I thought, let's just talk to this guy. People keep talking about him, so I'm just giving you a call. So he very patiently listens to her for a greater part of the night, and whatever he's able to, he uses his therapeutic techniques. He actually has something called logotherapy, that is giving meaning and purpose to life. So it's a very strong thing, which if you read the book by Viktor Frankl, that book is about his experiences in Auschwitz, but it's also about this therapy and how it helped people, and it's thing which anybody can read. What I'm saying is the other things like so mindfulness and this purposefulness and celebration, what Osho says, these three things I would say should be what you should do, and walking together where we keep communicating. Today we saw Anil Vartak openly saying, and there was someone in the audience who was sharing their experiences as when they attempted self-harm, and how we can be more concerned, how we can be more caring, how we use terminology. Being so careful as to not say committed, because commitment is a very positive word. It's about motivation, it's about decisiveness, it's about gung-ho mojo to do something. So why would you be committed to do something like this? Death anyway happens, death anyway comes in the end. So rather say he died by suicide, that's enough, and attempted and all that. So or completed. So all this is as if it was an incomplete act and he, completed. So this is the way we take a more nuanced approach and try to connect with people, be more this thing. So this lady was talking to Viktor Frankl. So she talked and, she rang off and all that. And later he meets her in a social setting, and she says, oh, I survived that night. He says, oh, what was it? How did you survive? So he is anticipating that she would say that your technique was very good. I found it very intelligent, that I found it very wise. But surprise, irony, she says, I don't know what you talked that day. I really don't remember. I don't remember at all what you said. But what struck me was, late in this night, some unknown person is willing to listen to my, sad story for so long. Then there's some goodness in the world. I'm worth something. And that's what made me live. So it's a bit of a come down for Viktor Frankl, but he's very gently and sweetly sharing that it's not his skill alone. Of course, the skill also would have helped, right? But it's also, and there are a lot of questions about very difficult situations. So one important thing that I think Nelson also brought out is that the community mental health worker, as a very important person, what I call the barefoot counselor. Okay, so we all get into this. Yesterday, one of our very experienced social worker, he was talking about teacher and how his teacher said, psychoanalytical psychotherapy can only be done with elite people. I said, yes, in India, because psychotherapy is mostly done in English and for a very high-paying, well-heeled kind of a clientele. But that doesn't mean that it is meant only for them. Okay, so in England, there are very many people who do pro bono work. Okay, where they do counseling. So we have to share our skills and, dilute it and help the barefoot workers, the community health workers, to be skilled in doing what we call mental health first aid. Just like physical first aid, you need to do mental health first aid, need to do early detection and counseling, early detection and treatment. So these are some of the things that I have. And spirituality, that can be plus and minus, but I would say we need to look at much more about communication, where we as a community, how are we communicating with each other? Are we our brothers keepers? Are we our neighbors keepers? Are we in connect with them? Are we bothered about them? Are we expressing, sharing, all that? And yes, somebody made an important point that suicide is not just an individual act, but it's also a result of a structural kind of a problem, a system kind of a problem. In that context, I want to say that when there is suicide in any community or in any state or in any, Dr. Kishore kept telling you the statistics in Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu is the fourth, or someone, I think Nelson or Jaykumar was saying how there's even suicide among doctors and stuff like that. But it's always an indictment of the system also. So we need to always look at where was the system going wrong. So if there are a lot of suicides, reported, unreported, lot of places where people have harmed themselves, but they have been saved, which may not have been reported, which may not have been documented. So when you take all the tip of the iceberg and the big iceberg below the horizon, then you will know what we would say is you make a diagnosis that the whole community is suicidal. The community has a pathogenic process. Okay, if you see Kerala, somebody was asking, oh, what about educated people? Why are they? So suicide is not so much about literacy or education. It's much more about feelings and about pain and how we are not able to handle that. So, and it's about how there is no support for it, no understanding for it. So that is something we need to look at. So it's not just individual. And this whole Zen thing that Dr. Agash was talking about. So Zen and mindfulness. So again, this is a methodology which is millennia old, right? And it's been there in the Near East and Far East and all that. And now through the West, it has become it has been validated, it has been value added by the Western scientific objective methodology. So we should look at that, how we look at things holistically, how we look at things mindfully. And that is where I'm again saying, it's like, there's this singer who was asked, I won't mention her name, she's a very popular singer. She was asked, you sing so well, you're so popular in your career, what would you like your child to be? Would you like it to be a good singer like you? She said, I would be very happy if he became a good singer, but then I would say, whatever you be the best. And even whether you're a carpenter, whether you're a this, that, and all, but there's a little problem, the best thing, so best again is too much of competition. So when you take it outside your system and you start comparing with others, so it's again and again, let's come to having the locus of control inside you. I enjoy this work irregardless of what I get out of it, from outside, from the future. See, for example, I'm talking this now, 10 minutes later, I might finish this talk and people might clap, or they may boo, or they may do anything, or they may just have already walked out. I don't know. But I am enjoying talking this. I believe that I need to talk all this. I believe that I should say all this in this particular way. And so that is what is important, rather than you be the best carpenter, you be the best peon, you be the best scientist, whatever, but be the best. That's an injunction that we should avoid. Be as good as you can be, but enjoy doing it. Be satisfied, and there is no hurry, no worry, no push to be better than somebody else. This is not some kind of sprint or dash that you have to do. Okay. And there's this whole life event thing. Yes. Life events, sometimes even happy life events. ஒரு படத்துல வந்து I think பாலும் பழமும் நினைக்கிறேன், பத்மினி வந்து சிவாஜி, they never marry actually in the end, it's a tragedy for them. So she says, மன்னிக்க வேண்டுகிறேன். Again, மன்னிப்பு is a very important thing in suicide. மன்னிப்பு yourself, மன்னிப்பு others, மன்னிப்பு society. And மன்னிப்பு is not only forgiving something that was wrong done, but மன்னிப்பு is also letting go. Oh, I lost that opportunity, it's okay, okay. There are other opportunities coming, and maybe that's the best that happened then, but right now, right here, I'm ready to receive whatever life has to offer for me now, here, and I can tackle that, because life comes in momentary installments, not in this wholesale 60-year life or 100-year life or whatever. It's in this moment. Am I happy in this moment? Am I totally present in this moment? Am I fully discharged in this moment? That's what is important. So in that movie, in that dialogue, she says, she's so happy and so fulfilled. So like that, life events, even happy events can make you, want to die. Sometimes you're afraid. Pinnacle. You look at Nargis. The pinnacle of her career was Mother India, and then she professionally committed suicide, not as a person. Professionally, she said, no, this is the height. I can't do anything better than this. I don't want to spoil my career or the name. It's a kind of, that's actually wrong. You never know. There might have been a better, and today we know Mother India was just a very melodramatic movie. And it's going to be just an okay kind of a movie. Not all that great that she thought, but she kind of got bamboozled with the reward and award and all the noise that happened. Today, not many people even know about Mother India. So it's not about this is the best. Nothing is the best, nothing is the worst. Nothing is the worst, nothing is the best. Things are. So can we be non-judgmental about this is the worst, this is the best? Sometimes the best can make you professional suicide. Citizen Kane, okay? That movie was, that was the end of that director's career. Or in Tamil, Mangala was talking about these two movies, but I want to talk about Aval Appaditan. In that movie, the director never made another better movie because he was stuck in that, the success and the name and the fame of that movie, because he didn't want to spoil the name of that movie and his reputation. If he had just moved on, he said, okay, that movie is done. Good, bad, people appreciate it, whatever. I'm done with that movie and I'm ready for the next one. He could have done a worse movie, he could have done a better movie, or he could have done a movie just as good as that. And we would have had a few more movies to see from him. Who knows? One might have been a better masterpiece than Avalapaditan. But that's never to be, because he was stuck in, do my best, I must do better than this. I can't, let people down. Imagine, these are all professional. He didn't die in a suicide, but it's a professional suicide where you block yourself. This is the best. I don't want to spoil that. Why? Each moment you're a different person. Each moment that I am speaking, I'm a different person. Every time I'm uttering something, I'm a different person. I'm not the same Anbu who began the talk. Okay. So like they say, you can never enter the same river twice because the river has moved on. So I'm not the same person. So what the person who started this talk was Anbu 1, who was trying to do some justice to it. And now this is Anbu, umpteenth Anbu, who's somehow trying to, wind up and say a valedictory farewell to everybody and say, look, buddies, you all got all these nice psychological tools and nourishing, goodies that you can pack in your metaphorical backpack for the long way home on life itself. And how do I say goodbye to you? Or rather, the way I could say goodbye is to say that let's be in touch, let's be in connect, let's keep on conversing. I think that's what I would say. And so, yeah, so there is all this thing about resilience. Yeah, salience and resilience. So we give salience to something. This is the best. It can't do better than that. Whereas be resilient. Maybe the best, maybe the worst, but I'm going to be resilient this moment. I'm going to be resilient. So that's the word. Yeah, so we could go on and on. I really am, I am feeling empowered, because in 30 years or something, when we began, nobody even wanted to come into psychiatry. People would ask me, why did you take this? But today, a lot of youngsters are taking this up. They're fighting to get into it. And not only that, so many. And as Nelson very rightly pointed out, in fact, many times a psychiatrist with his medical model may not be the, or even a psychologist with their clinical model, they have their purpose, but you have to understand community care is a 3-tiered approach. So community awareness provided by the community worker, intermediate, professionals, general specialists, teachers, doctors, your family physician and all that, and tertiary level of specialists, people like me, people like Dilli, Divya and all these people, Dr. Kishore or Mohana, Agash and all that. So they are at the higher level. So, I mean, not higher level, but the other level where you go into more specifics, but you have to have this networked kind of approach where, you keep, it's like a table tennis thing where you pass the ball back to them, and they pass it back, and so and they hold it there, that's the kind of thing. So I would ask you all to be aware. I keep saying it to many places where I speak. I say, how many people do you see here?
Somebody says 2. Harish says
One.
2.
One person.
Okay, everybody sees 1. Who said 2? Now that's interesting. How did they see 2? Are you drunk or you have diplopia? How did you see 2?
No, I meant 2 because I thought you and someone else is conversing. So.
No, can you see anybody else here?
No.
So, check. How many?
1.
Okay, but actually, the one that you're saying is just this physical entity that you're seeing. But actually, we are 3 entities at any single point of time. All of us as human beings, if we are living, even if we are in deep coma, grade 4 coma, like totally vegetative state or something, but still you're 3. How 3? 1 is this, the physical entity, then the psychological entity, and 3, the social entity. I'm in front of you right now, talking whatever the way I'm talking, because of the social kind of person that I am. I've been called to do this valedictory because of the social kind of capital that I have, of the experience that I have, the kind of expressions that I have, the qualification that I have. So I'm here. Why are people here? Each of them is in their capacity as their social entity. So all of us have minimum 3 entities. Some people might say body, mind, and soul. But Soul is something I always say, I leave it for Nityananda or Isha and people or any Padri or somebody. Because as a doctor, as a psychiatrist, I don't want to talk about soul because I don't know. Kandavar Pathadillai, I mean, Kandavar Sonnadillai, Sonnavar Kandadillai. Soul. But we can talk about these three entities. We need to understand whatever suicide, any illness, mental illness, physical illness, everything is a cross product of these three, the kind of dynamic equilibrium which is there between my body, my mind, and my social entity. How they interact makes my life safe or unsafe. Whatever behavior, whatever happens, is those three things, and whether there's a safety network in the society, you know. So this is a thing. So yeah, so as I said, we can keep on talking about all this. There's so many things, but I think we have had a long chat and we should wind this up before people kind of get very wild and start attacking me or you know, all that. So I'll leave while the going is good. And I hope many of the tools that you got and which you must have collected, and I hope you'll all use it, and I hope we'll have many more barefoot workers, because that's what is very, very important. Yeah, and there are a lot of material here, both literature, movies, series and all that. There's a series called 13 Reasons Why, which is quite a tough serial to watch, but I think you could try watching it, and that deals with suicide a lot, about school, you know, bullying and how that can lead to this thing, how gender violence happens, all those kind of things. So it's a very multi-sectoral thing, and so let's all keep continuing the conversation. And yes, so this year I think we have, you know, I wish I could light the candle, because that's what we are supposed to do, a candle of hope, a candle of memory also for the people who are no more with us, whom we have lost because of this kind of an issue, but also a candle of hope and a candle of knowledge, because a candle, as you know, can easily light another candle. So that is what I'm saying, and that's what happened. These galaxy of stars, I mean stars in both ways. You know, we actually had stars, but also stars in different ways, whether it's Dr. Kishore or Mangala, all of them, you know, they're really very, very nice people, very, very, very dedicated people. So all these stars lit their candles, and they have lit your mind candles, and I hope we can create more light, very gentle light, in a very turbulent atmosphere where COVID is blowing. But even in that, let's keep the flame of hope of this candle burning. Yeah, so with that, I give my valedictory farewell and goodwill and wishes to everybody, and thank you all for working so hard and making it so successful. All those anchors, you know, who kept coming in and supporting the presenters and the resource persons, and all of us who have joined together. And particularly, I have to thank Dilli for, he knows I'm such a dangerous guy. I'll do all kinds of nonsense, but still he took a chance, you know. It's like playing Russian roulette. So he's played that. So it's fine. So yeah, thank you for everything, and goodbye, and keep in touch.